Hey, I'm your host, Bree Wild, and this is Marquee Memories. Here we sit down with your favorite artists to talk about their top concert memories as fans. Today's guest is a singer, songwriter, rising rock star who's toured with Phineas, worked with G-Flip, worked with Stan Atlantic, and she has a new album coming out. Another exciting thing, she recently collabed with Limp Bizkit's Fred Durst on Come Say Some. Welcome, Lauren Sanderson.
Thank you for having me. That was a cool intro.
Yeah.
I'm learning new things about myself.
I think that all works, right?
Yeah.
So I love that YouTube commenter called Come Say Some Break Stuff for the Ladies.
Ooh.
Was that your idea, or did they just come up with that?
Oh, that was not my idea. I would not claim that, but that was the song that inspired Come Say Some. And so it's crazy that Fred heard it on his own time. I don't know. I didn't know how to get a hold of him to share it with him.
Did he reach out to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that like? Were you like, are you fake?
No, I saw it and I was like, wow! And then so I said, absolutely, fuck yes. And then all I responded back was #LesBiscuit. But he just DM'd me a fire emoji and a music emoji. And I was like, oh, yep, absolutely. So I said, #LesBiscuit. And then I sent back, Come Say Some with an open verse. And I just said, Fred X Lauren. Because I was like, when am I going to get a chance like this again? Yeah. You got to shoot your shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, he messaged me and I guess it just landed on his algorithm.
That's
got
amazing.
Lucky. Yeah.
And you guys shot a video and everything.
Yeah. He DM'd me on, I believe it was April 2nd. And then I responded. And then next thing I know, within like 3 days, he sent me the song with him on it. And then I called him. I'm like, oh my God. And then he's like, man, we got to do a video. And I'm like, oh my God. So then we went to Tennessee, shot the video. In the month that we met, there was a song video and it was all out. And it was like, what just happened?
Fred gets things done.
Yeah. Oh,
wow.
No, he doesn't fuck around. And I'm the same way. So that's why I think that it happened like that. Because we were just like.
Not like, let's work together in the future. Like, no, let's get this done.
I said, send it now. Let's get it out now.
Amazing.
The moment's here. We just got to do it now.
Yeah, while it's hot.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's such a good story.
Thank you.
So you got your start as a motivational speaker. I would argue that you're still a little bit of a motivational speaker, just like,
Yeah.
different angle.
Yeah.
Sharper edges.
Yeah, definitely sharper. Yeah, I mean, I just didn't get into college and I was like, what can I do that I don't have to be like, here's my degree. And I was like, I was kind of a pothead in high school. And so I looked up on Google how to do a TED Talk, got a TED Talk, applied. I was like, there's no way, right? But I got in and that was my first time on stage. And I was like, oh, this is for me. We're doing this. And then, that's when I realized, speaking of cussing, you can't cuss when you do a lot of motivational speaking, especially at that time. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to turn these thoughts into music. And then there it was.
Amazing.
Yeah. I've never heard of anyone else having that same start. So I'm glad I got those cards in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shoot your shot and do you ever miss?
I think so, yeah. I got so lucky because my dad from a very young age was like, failure doesn't exist. And I think that inspired me to just always shoot my shot because you can't miss if you don't believe in failure. Because you're on the path, you trust the process. And if something doesn't work out, which it doesn't all the time, then I'm like, wasn't meant for me.
Yeah.
Move on. Yeah.
It's a great attitude.
Yeah, I try.
I'm glad we could squeeze this in before you make a big move to Nashville.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
What's there? What's inspiring this big old move?
Well, I grew up in Indiana, moved to LA 10 years ago, and it's been there's nowhere else I would have rather been this whole time. I feel like I'm just at a point where I'm like, I'm ready to start a new chapter. And Nashville's like if LA and Indiana had a baby. It's like I'm not a country music girly whatsoever.
There's a lot of songwriters.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of songwriters. I have never done I've never done a studio session there before. But yeah, I went to Tennessee for the Come Say Some video with Fred. And I was like, I'm just going to look on Zillow. I like the vibe here. And then I found a place, fell in love with it, and boom. Put in my 30 days.
That fast?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I had been like flirting with the idea for a long time, and then it just was like, what am I doing? Just send it. So tomorrow the movers come at 7 a.m.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna need it. 4 or 5 day drive. I have 3 dogs, so can't fly. Don't want to put them under the plane. They're. I have 2 pit bulls and a wiener dog.
Okay.
So they need to go in the back seat.
Have they been on a road trip before?
No. No, they haven't. So this will be a first for us all together as a family.
Nice.
It'll be fun. But yeah, Nashville, here I come.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's dig into some of these memories. We've got the Camp Rock Tour.
Jonas Brothers and Demi Lovato, Verizon Wireless Music Center, Indianapolis, 2008. So basically, the year's 2008, I'm starting to discover music. I'm obsessed with, Disney Channel and all the things as a kid. And something about Camp Rock, I think it was like the first musical, along with like High School Musical and all that stuff, that was like a music movie. And I just fell in love with it. And my dad actually won tickets from a radio show. I think it was technically the Jonas Brothers tour. Okay. And then I think Demi opened, but I told...
You associated them all with...
it was the Camp Rock tour. Like, as my kid brain, I'm like, it's Camp Rock. But that is like the most influential concert still to this day, because being in that crowd and being from a small place like Indiana and going to somewhere where I'm like, oh my God, I'm feeling all of the energy. I'm feeling all the inspiration. Everyone's screaming. It was my first concert.
That's amazing. That's a great first concert.
Yeah, it was so amazing. And it's huge. Like, they were kids, and it was like, I think 25,000 capacity. And it's like a big field outdoor, and I'm just watching them on this little screen, and I'm like, I want to do that. That looks sick. Like, I don't know why my kid brain was like, I could do that. That could be me. But that definitely put something in my brain of like, I want to be on stage with a microphone, and I want people to be like, ah, and like, I want to hype people up.
Yeah. So
that was that day. It was just crazy. It was my first time seeing people from TV in real life. And there's something about that just there's nothing like it. Nothing like a concert.
Do you remember any specific songs or specific moments in the set, or was it just the overall vibe that was impressive?
I mean, I think This Is Real, This Is Me. I think it's called This Is Me, but you got to say the first part. Seeing them do like a duet, and I don't know, I think just hearing all the songs from the movie in real life, and like seeing the impact and knowing the impact it had on me, and then being in a crowd of 25,000 people that it also impacted in their own ways, I think that was the most impactful thing about it. But yeah, I just looked it up. Apparently Avril Lavigne was the first of 3. Hello? I don't even know what Avril had released by that point.
Yeah.
But she was also one of my first favorite artists when I was in elementary school, and I don't know if I discovered her by then.
Right.
But that's crazy.
Yeah.
I missed Avril. It's fucked up.
Who did you go with? Did you go with your dad?
I went with my dad, his girlfriend, and my friend. And then we all went, just us 4. And then I remember after the concert, I was so energized that I left them all in the dust, and I sprinted to the car because I just wanted to hear it again in the car.
You're like, turn on the radio.
Yeah. No, now, put on the CD. No, I literally, goodbye family, goodbye friends, like sprinted to the car. My dad was like, hello? And I was like, I had too much energy. And I think from that day on, he also was like, there's something there. Something just awoke within this kid. So, yeah.
Did you like start singing after that? Like, what happened after that little seed was planted?
I can't remember exactly the order of events, but I did start singing. And actually, like, I think just seeing the concert in general and being like, it was less like, oh, I'm just singing songs I love in the shower. Now I'm like, this is real. Now I'm like,
I'm rehearsing.
Yeah. I'm getting ready for my tour. I'm definitely in elementary school or middle school. I think that was like 7th grade for me. And I was like, yeah, now it's like, it's a different ball game. Now from there on out, it was like, now I'm sound checking in the shower. Yeah. It was no more fun and games. Yeah. It was all, this is
all
preparation.
Leading up to something.
This is all going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Did you ever see the Jonas Brothers and Demi after that at all?
So I actually just saw Demi live like last month or so. I'm friends with her husband, Jude's. And so I ran into him backstage and it was just so fun at Madison Square Garden in New York. And it's always just full circle. My friend Gigi is her choreographer.
Oh,
And
nice.
so Gigi was like, oh my God, you're in New York. I'm at Madison Square Garden with Demi. Come through. I went and it's just like, it's such a full circle moment. And she doesn't miss everything she does. She's one of those people that's like live. As a singer, I can't comprehend half the things that she's doing up there. But yeah, she's just amazing. So yeah, I got to see her a couple weeks ago,
Nice.
right after Nashville. It's been a trip. It's been a lot going on.
There's a lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff. Yeah.
That's amazing. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
To Miley Cyrus Bangers Tour. So this is a tour you watched on DVD.
Yeah.
Most of the footage was from Barcelona.
Miley Cyrus Bangers Tour, Barcelona, 2014. So 2014 was my senior year of high school, okay? I was rebelling. I was like, I hate this one horse town. You know, I was like, I'm getting out of here the second I turn 18. And I think by this point, Miley Cyrus was also rebelling. She had, again, we had grown up with her, all of us on Disney, and watching her do whatever the hell she wanted, that was my favorite artist. Whenever I saw her smoking a bong, I said, that's my new favorite artist. She put out the DVD. I don't know if she came to Indiana. I don't know what I was doing if she did, because I should have been there. But I remember I had a countdown of when this was going to be released. And she slides down the tongue in the beginning.
Yeah.
Her intro is like literally had her tongue extend out slowly. And she slides down. She had every walk of life imaginable on that stage. She was on top of a car. She's fucking doing all
Miley
the
money.
Miley money. Like, that is an icon. And I think that was such a memorable moment. I bought the CD. I was like, refresh, bought it and played it. I think I watched that show 20 times because I think what was so inspiring about it was that it was a publicly known thing that she wasn't supposed to be acting like that, you know? And I feel like growing up in Indiana, I have just been told so many times, like, don't get the tattoos. Don't do the TED Talk. Just go to college. Like, I'm being fed all of this information of what to do and how to think. And I never liked that. And so I think that's what I noticed about that concert was she was just doing whatever she wanted. And she had truly like freed herself from the shackles of whatever was put on her. So that's what I remember about specifically like sitting down, buying it, playing it on repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to that tour.
You did?
We went to the kickoff in Vancouver for one of
No.
our other series.
No.
It was so cool. And I had like a working wristband, so I walk right up to the catwalk, and while the Miley money was like raining on me.
What were you doing there? Like, what were you
We
working?
were filming a series called First Date where we go to the kickoffs of tours.
No.
Yeah, and like interview
That's
the fans
such a
and
cool
everything.
series.
Yeah, we could start it again, right, guys?
Oh, start it again. Come to my tour.
Yeah.
Come.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was like nothing else. Like she had like these big feathered puppets on,
Yeah.
you know, like the big gold
Yep.
car. It was
Yep.
she like her backstage was just filled with like all of these insane props and
It was insane. Nobody was doing it like that at that time because especially like you could feel the freedom off of her. Like she was like literally like, I don't care. I'm doing it. And in fact, I'm actually going to do it twice as much as I was going to do it because you all just pissed me off.
yeah.
And I can't believe you got to see the kickoff.
It was so good.
That's so cool that you were there. Love money party.
Yeah.
And she's just like, and she had just cut all her hair off.
Yes.
And then I cut all my hair off. I did. I cut it all off. And
Was that inspired by Miley?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I was like, oh, I'm doing that. And I think I was also like having a gay awakening, like towards her, but also just in general. But she was like, I was like, oh, she cut all her hair off. I'm doing the thing. So I cut it all off and bleached it blonde. Shout out Miley. That was not Ellen DeGeneres inspired. That was Miley inspired.
I wanted to look up the set list for because you said most of the footage came from the Barcelona show, right?
Yeah. Look it up. I got to see this.
Yeah, so this is the set list from Barcelona, if you remember. If
my
if
God.
the DVD came out
Yes.
that way too.
Oh my God, absolutely. Yeah. Do my thing. Get It Right. But we gotta get it right. Adore You too. She had the kiss cam.
Oh, that's right.
And that was also so cool to me because, again, she grew up in this PG world where so much pressure on who to be, what to think, whatever. And she had, again, all walks of life on there. She had dudes kissing, girls kissing, trans people, like drag queens. She had all these different people. And in Indiana, I've never seen any of that before. And so I was like, that is just so cool that she was just so for equality and still is.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's cool, like, especially at that time. Like, I remember Lady Gaga was the first artist I ever heard, like, talk about all of that openly. And yeah, she was the first person I saw live where I was like, I'm seeing so many new things right now. But yeah, and then Drive, to anyone watching, if you know the song Drive, you know that is a really good steering wheel drum song. Like, Summertime Sadness, Lana Del Rey cover. And then the Hey Ya Outcast cover, Scientist Coldplay cover, and Jolene Dolly Parton cover.
Of course.
Like, that's me. I just want to sing everybody else's songs. I don't even care about mine. And then 23, obviously, We Can't Stop, Wrecking Ball, Party in the USA.
Yes, so good.
What was happening? Like, she was having an awakening.
Yeah.
And we were there. But yeah, just so cool. And I love when an artist gets so much backlash and they just run
She's
with
like,
it.
I don't care.
They don't even just run with it and accept it. They actually just lean into it and
like,
make it their
feed on
own.
it.
Yeah, they get inspired from it.
Yeah.
And I love that. Miley is also one of those artists at the time when, I'm senior year in high school. I already felt so different than everybody, and seeing an artist like that just so embracing all of this, differences in life and all of that, and just doing her own thing. But also, it's rare for female artists to just have fun.
Yeah.
And just, you don't care if you look
She
like,
shaved her head.
yeah, shaved her head. She's not like wearing outfits to be like for the male gaze, or
Nope.
again, all this Disney stuff where you're supposed to be selling something.
Mhm.
You felt like when you watched that, it was like she's just like, I'm gonna wear my bikini top. I'm pretty sure she like took off her full bikini top at one point. Not on the DVD. But yeah, just so cool. And I feel the same about myself. I don't care if I look hot. I care if people are watching me on stage and they're feeling like they just want to explode because they have so much energy.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. And that was so clear with her. And I feel the same about Pink too. Like, they're just fun. They're having fun. They're like kind of just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Living
their best life.
Living their best life.
The only thing that sucks about Miley is she like very vocally does not like touring.
Yeah,
So
I did
it's
hear
like
about
when
that.
you're not gonna get very many chances to see her. I think she
Mhm.
should do like a residency in Vegas though, because that's not really touring,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
She could play like 4 nights in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I go
or
for
like
that.
45.
Or 45.
No,
45.
I
I'd go.
understand. Touring is really hard, and she's been doing touring specifically for
Since
a
she
really
was-
long
yeah.
time at a crazy level. Like, that's not just like, oh, I'm going to dive bars here and there. What I think she should do is a dive bar tour.
That would be fun.
That is how I feel like I just want to see arena artists doing that. I saw Justin Bieber at the Roxy
Oh, yeah?
a couple weeks, or like
The
right before
pre-Coachella one.
Yeah, and it was like, that feels like, in this day and age when everything feels very disconnected and like just desensitized, it feels cool seeing people who you would typically see on like from far away on a tiny screen, seeing them like that.
Yeah.
I want to see Lana Del Rey at
Yes.
that. I want to see Lady Gaga, like, it's so cool. Madonna just performed at the Abbey in WeHo. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
that's
should do
cool.
some like secret pop-up shows.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
would be
just
great.
don't even announce it, just go.
And she could play all covers. That would be fine too.
I don't care what she does. She doesn't even have to do anything. She can just be like, she can just be vibing.
She could just be DJing.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll show up.
So I think that's that. I think it was just she has I hope that she knows how much she's impacted so many people to just be themselves at the end of the day. I love it.
Thank you, Miley.
Thank you, Miley.
Let's go to Lorde.
Lorde.
So Lorde at the Forum.
Lorde, the Forum, Los Angeles 2026. So Lorde, that was when she came out, or I think she came out with Royals in 2013, but she really, I think, was having her full blown moment, or at least that's when I was having my moment with her music in her first album in 2014. And Miley was like, rebellion, like, but Lorde was like, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the differences. I'm feeling growing up. I'm feeling the changes. I'm feeling the clicks. I'm feeling my parents growing up. Like, I'm feeling all these things, and I'm at parties and all of this stuff. But it's the more depth of it all. And I have so many memories to that album. And I think just ever since then, her music has been such a cool roller coaster of different, eras that she's been in. And she's one of those artists that she goes away, and she goes away for however long she needs, documents the time capsule that she's in, puts it out. And then I think this tour specifically was like so clear that she is like on the other end of all of those eras, and she was telling a story, and that was I'm a set list person. Wink wink. Wait, I'm gonna do no sunglasses the rest of the time. I'm such a set list person. Like, I obsess over order of set lists on when
Do you look at it ahead of time?
Like, for the artist I'm going to, I do a sneak peek. I do a little peek.
Okay,
I don't like study it and do the whole playlist, but I'm like, okay, this is where we're going. But I feel like when I see it live, I just love a well done order of songs. That was the best set list I've ever seen.
Of anyone
ever in my life. That was like, she started, and it was I can't remember what song it was, but it just was the loop a sampled loop, and it just was like while this light was like, I have so many videos from this concert. But anyway, she went throwbacks, she went new songs, she went every album, but it was like, when you get to a concert and it kind of just feels like, okay, like, I'm kind of bored of this moment. None of that. She just kept going. And then she went to the middle of the crowd for my favorite songs, and one of them is A World Alone, that I have so many memories to, just like crying and driving in Indiana down the back roads and just feeling all the feelings. And that was right before I moved to California. That was a lot of, I'm moving to Nashville tomorrow. Throwback to moving to California. That was also a hard, like, whoa, I'm really doing the thing, and that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And I like Lorde's music because she talks about being scared a lot.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good to, like, acknowledge.
I thought she was like 18 and scared about getting old. I'm like, girl.
Yeah. Me too. I feel like my biggest fear in life is dying. I hate it. I love life. I love life so much. I never want to die. And I think that's why I like her music too, is because she always talks about, like, feels so scary getting old. I want it back. I want it back. Like, I feel like she's always yearning for like a moment that she was in and can never get back again. And that's just senior year of high school things. You're never going to be in high school again. You got to move on.
So what about her set list? What do you think? How does she approach it, do you think?
I don't know. I think every artist approaches it so differently, but she specifically, I think she just probably was going with her feelings about it. Wait, let me go on her set list real quick, because I have referenced this numerous times since this concert. I keep telling people, because I'm going on tour this fall and like getting my own set list ready, and I'm like, rerouting. Okay, Lorde set list 2026 opened with Hammer. Okay, this is what was. Can I play this song?
Sure.
This is what was on the loop. It just kept going as this light was like, and it was like a laser light just going down. And then when it hit, or I think it was going up, but whatever. And then when it started the song, the laser spread open and she was there.
That's cool.
It was so cool. I'm a lighting freak. And then immediately into Royals. So it was like, boom, your biggest song, like your first biggest song? First biggest song right away. Then she went, so that's throwback. Then she went new album, Broken Glass. Then Buzzcut Season, which was my first favorite Lorde song. That song I heard the first time in a 76 gas station parking lot because my friend was buying me cigarettes because I wasn't 18 yet. And she had the Lorde CD and then the 1975 CD. And this was like peak Tumblr. And I was like, Lorde, I think I've seen this cover. Let's put it in. And I just like skipped to 5. And it was Buzzcut season. And I was like, what is this? So anyway, then Favorite Daughter, then Perfect Places. That... Are you a Lorde? Are you like a... Are you...
I am.
Like, do you know...
Melodrama is my favorite
Melodrama
album.
is my second favorite. Actually, it's tied. The
Is it?
first one and that one is tied. And then she kind of went back and forth, oldest to newest, and then she went Melodrama.
Okay.
So I'm like, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was just cool. And she did all the stuff, and the way that she did it was so cool. And then she ended with Ribs, which... And then I think A World Alone was like a surprise song, and that was
She
my
doesn't.
favorite.
That's like a rarity for her. I feel like I don't feel like she plays that one very
Yeah,
often.
and that's like the one that I have so many memories to. And I don't think I've ever actually cried at a concert, but I cried at that one.
You were moved.
I was in, and I had a cup of water. I was moved, and I had a cup of
moved
water.
and a margarita.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The 2 M's.
Yeah.
So that was that. And yeah, it was such a good time. And my girlfriend's friend works at the Forum, so we got the tickets the day of. I didn't even know I was going to that. So it was like we woke up and her friend was like, "Do you want to go to Lorde tonight?" And then it was like we were sat up perfectly in the middle in one of those little like boxes.
Nice.
Right in the middle, and it was just me and the laser in the beginning, and I was like, "Woohoo!"
That's amazing.
There was one part where she was running on the treadmill and singing. Have you seen that clip?
No.
So they have a treadmill, and like if this is like center stage, the treadmill's facing this way, and she's running and singing, and that's like what her music feels like. It feels like she's like running back to moments or something, and that's what that was giving. And it was
impressive. What song was she doing that during?
I don't remember. I would go to it in my phone. But there are legit 50 videos from that night, and it's somewhere in there. But she was running, and she had a camera right here, and then she had a camera on the front of the treadmill, and it was just bouncing back.
That's so cool.
It was so cool.
Did she play Liability?
I don't think she did.
Oh, that's my favorite.
I
That's
do
my
love
favorite
Liability.
Sad Lorde song.
Yeah, Liability. Oh yeah, she did.
Okay.
She did. Yeah, she has a lot of videos on YouTube of her doing the songs from that era in like different settings, and she has Liability, I think, in this one like little room where it's like a very old vintage piano, and then there's just like a bunch of candles all around her. You gotta look that up.
I'm gonna look it up.
It's a moment. But yeah, that was Lorde.
It's amazing.
What's your favorite concert?
My favorite,
Yeah.
like ever? Last time
Like
somebody
if
asked me this, I'm
you
like,
if the roles were reversed, what would your concert be?
I saw Paramore at the Greek.
Oh, that's so fun. What,
It
is
was
that
their-
recent?
It was their After Laughter tour, so I think it was like 2017.
Okay.
2017.
Which is 9 years ago, mind you. I don't know where the time's going.
So crazy, but yeah,
That's cool.
I was going through something really sad at the time,
Mhm.
and like their lyrics were just, like
Yeah.
just hitting.
Yeah.
And Paramore at the Greek was
The Greek's my favorite theater. My
It's-
favorite venue in LA.
I
by
would probably
far.
go see any show there just
Yeah.
because it's nice.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Anytime someone's like, "Hey, do you want to go see this?" and I'm like, "Maybe. Where is it? The Greek?" Yep.
Yep. Okay.
I'm so mad I just missed Youngblood at the Greek.
Yeah, that was
I
the
wanted to
22nd
go to that. I don't even think I was in town, but I wanted to go to that so bad. But Paramore is also same era where I'm crying in the car in Indiana. That was also like the same era of the Miley, the Lorde, just feeling all the feelings.
Yep.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah. That's cool that you saw them at the Greek though. And now Haley is doing her,
I could not get tickets to that tour.
where is she? The
She
Hollywood
played,
Bowl.
Well, no, I got tickets to the Hollywood Bowl.
Okay.
Thank goodness. But she played, I think it was last week, played a string of shows at the Wiltern.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
did see that. I did see that.
The
Yeah.
bowl shows I'm really happy about. Actually, I got tickets to the second night. The first night sold out, and it bumped you to a queue to the second day. And I
Oh,
was
the
like,
Hollywood Bowl?
yes, yeah.
Ah.
So
But yeah, I think those are my 3. I'm trying to think of any special. I did see Mac Miller at Tyler the Creator's Music Festival. I saw Mac Miller in 2018, I think, and that was like awesome because I've always wanted to see him. He was one of my first favorite artists too. Tyler the Creator was one of my like first very favorite obsession artists where I was like,
He's another like, I do what I want.
I do what I want, and sometimes what he wants is absolutely insane, especially at that time. But I remember I had a lawn mowing business when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, and I would play his music and be like, oh, I can do anything. Life's crazy.
Nice. What was your like musical upbringing? Like, did your parents listen to a lot of music? Did they go to shows? And
My parents loved music. My mom introduced me to hip hop. My first CD that I ever saw of hers was Sierra, 1-2-Step Goodies era. That changed me as a person. I think that was actually my true gay awakening when I saw Sierra. And then she loved like hip hop, all things hip hop. We only listened to hip hop in the car, and also just like the Black Eyed Peas, the Yin Yang Twins, like that whole Akon era. And that's one of my favorite eras of music because it's so fun.
yeah,
It's like I get back to like people just having fun. Like every song had a dance, Soulja Boy, that whole thing, Laffy Taffy, like all of that. But my mom and I would listen to so much music in the car. That was like our connecting thing.
nice.
And like she would look in the rearview mirror and I would be in the back and I would dance and like make her laugh. Again, only child things. You got to make your parents laugh. You're the only thing that can make them laugh. And then my dad was also a huge rap fan. My dad really liked rap, specifically like less like poppy stuff, but more like my dad was big, like Tupac, Biggie, like all of that stuff. And so yeah, I kind of just loved rap since I was a kid. And then obviously as I got older and listened to more of the radio, that's when like, the Avril Lavigne's and the Pinks of the world came in, and I was like, that made me feel more. And so yeah, I think that was like my realm. And my mom does also like have a soft spot for country music. So got some Tim McGraw, Kenny Chesney, Martina McBride, all that stuff that I'm like, okay, Mom. Okay, range.
Good.
But yeah, I think that's really what they listened to as far as I can remember. I just remember my mom and I had so much fun listening to music. I just started having her send me playlists of stuff that she thinks I would like, even if I maybe have never heard it.
Okay.
And so she's been sending me playlists.
Nice.
It's the best.
Nice homework assignment for
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah. I'm like, this playlist rocks. Like I've been telling her like, keep it coming. I love this. I forgot about this song, I'm Too Sexy. That was one of the songs in there. And I said, I've been like, because I'm opening for Limp Bizkit, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to figure out, like, I want to cover a song that and make it rock.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I want it to kind of be like random.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, should it be I'm Too Sexy and do like rock crazy like metal version? Be kind of fun. Like,
yeah.
Dun, 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 I'm too sexy for this. Like, it's like, I don't know. And then some of the other ones. But yeah, that's my upbringing.
So what you have coming up is opening for Limp Bizkit then.
Yeah. I'm opening for Limp Bizkit in Nashville. I think it's their only headline shows they're having. Fred didn't even tell me. I literally heard from my agents and I said, hello. I texted him. I said, hello? He's like, that's the only one so far. I said, what the hell? So yeah, I'm going to open for them. And then I have a headline tour that I'm dropping June 1st. Tour tickets on sale now. And then, yeah, got a few festivals, Austin City Limits, and some Pride stuff coming up, and album.
Yeah, tell us about Lauren.
Lauren is called Lauren because it's my first moment in my career where I feel like I'm not experimenting and making music to kind of figure out who I am.
Okay.
It's the first part of my career where I'm like, no, this is like a stamp. Like, I'm such a titles person. Believe me, if there was a better title, there would be. There really was nothing better than just Lauren. This is just me. This is me not trying to fit in any boxes. This is me, like, just literally going to the studio and being like, what would I make if no one ever heard it? Because that's what I think we should all be doing. What we would do if no one ever saw or heard, do that. That's what this album is. It's fun. It's rock. It's pop. It's all of the things, and it's fun. I'm going to keep saying fun. Like, I feel like I'm a broken... It's fun, guys. It's fun. Have fun.
Are all of the songs meant to be played live? Do you think they're all going to get
Yes.
stage time?
Yeah. The tour is definitely gonna have the full album live, and yeah, the album really has a lot of different elements of different genres, but the show is rock.
Got it.
So I kind of did that on purpose, where I do have a lot of different genre inspos, and I don't want to make a rock album. I wanted to make an album that felt swaggy and cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's rock to me. That's rock and roll to me. I think the most rock and roll people are just, they don't give a shit, and they have fun. And yeah, the whole show is just guitars, drums, fun, jumping, yelling, crawling on the ground. I'm probably gonna be wearing like booty shorts and a bikini top some days, and then like a backwards hat and a baggy.
Whatever you feel like.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever happens. But yeah, it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be by far my best shows I've ever done, just because I care so much. I started medication and I'm like, wow, I can focus. This is great. Now it's like, it's not even June. My shows are in September, and it's like the show's already being worked on.
Amazing.
Imagine by the time it's September. So yeah, it's going to be fun. You should come. Maybe I'll have G Flip come out for Gay for Me.
Yay.
G's the best.
She was so good. We had her in the same day as the Beaches.
Oh, love
yeah,
the
when
Beaches.
They were like,
Yeah.
we had them make a message for each other. And stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Beaches, I just ran into at Billboard Women in Music.
Nice.
And I don't know why, like their drummer was kind of MIA some of the night, and I kept taking pictures of people.
So
like
they thought you were the drummer.
Yeah. I kept talking to the Beaches, and then people would come up and be like, looking at me, being like, I love you guys so much. Like thinking I was in the Beaches. I'm like, do you want a picture? Like, and that I love them because they're just funny. They don't take themselves too seriously. And yeah, they're just like sarcastic and fun. But yeah, I love the Beaches and love G. G was my first, I think, like real collaboration that like, I did not know how big they were in Australia. Like that shit went to number 3 on the charts in the whole country or something. I was
Amazing.
like, what is happening? Like they didn't even tell me that they were that big. And I was like, hello? I was like, I thought we were just like making a fun song.
because we're friends.
Yeah, we're just like friends, and we met because of that song, and I thought we were just vibing, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey mate, we're charting in Australia. I was like, hello? Never charted in my life until then, so that's fun. And now the Fred one is charting. That's crazy. I don't even think to check the chart. I'm just a girl. Like
you're like, somebody else check the charts.
Yeah, no, I didn't even. I mean, I didn't. I just don't assume I'm gonna be there. But then I've been there. That's crazy. Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. It's fun.
So you got a lot of stuff coming up, but do you have any plans to go to a show as a fan? I guess you got to move first, but
Gotta move. Trying to think. Well, I actually am going to the Beaches.
Nice.
Yeah, Leandra just texted me and said that they're opening for Louis Tomlinson in Nashville.
Awesome.
That'll be my first show in Nashville. They're
Yay.
opening for Louis Tomlinson. I've never been to a show in Nashville. And so that'll be fun. I was like, oh my God. I feel like LA, this is no shade. It just drains me. And so I feel like a lot of the times I don't have energy to say yes to that much anymore. But in Nashville, I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's like so much less like bougie and stuff. And that's
probably
where I
also
thrive.
doesn't take, an hour to go 4 miles. but-
Right. That's also a thing. And it's just more like laid back, I feel.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. That'll be my next show. The Beaches.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your memories today.
Yeah.
And good luck on your move to Nashville.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And to anyone watching, if you feel it in your heart to become a musician, you better fucking do it. There's a reason why you're having that feeling. 'Cause you're meant to do it. So do it.